Well, hello everyone. This is Crystal Lynn, Cowgirl Astrologer, and I'm super excited to get to come on today. It's a beautiful rainy day in Southern California, and I'm here to do our third free winner for my free winner giveaway, which I am going to be continuing to do throughout 2017. So if you'd like a chance to win, I'll be pulling out a winner, probably one, maybe two a month. And my purpose isn't just to, obviously be able to give back and share, my insights with you guys, and that's it. It's to teach. I want to teach you guys just the different aspects of astrology and reading charts, just from my experience, give you a little glimpse. And as I've talked about before, I'll be having a separate page where you'll be able to go into more in-depth studies if you would like to dive deeper into astrology and reading charts. And so these videos here are just to give you guys a little taste of some of my views and thoughts and how I read a chart. Everybody's going to be an individual. So just so you guys know, I don't want in any way to be like, this is how you read a chart. I'm just sharing with you the way I read a chart, giving you guys some insights, but everybody's going to have their own way because we know that, we all see through the world in a unique way. Okay. So right now, as we speak, we have a stellium in Pisces. We have, let's take a look at this a minute. We have Venus, Mars, Neptune, and Chiron, the wounded healer, moving through Pisces right now. This is very powerful. And Mars in Pisces is at 13 degrees at the peak. Venus has just now entered. Neptune in Pisces is, it's gaining speed. So we know that a lot of the issues that we're dealing with in our personal lives have been very, very intense. And just from talking to a lot of you and my own personal experience, especially having a strong Pisces signature in my chart, I'm feeling this. I have Chiron transiting directly over my ascendant right now. And I'm dealing with some deep stuff, deep emotional stuff, patterns that have been in my life throughout my whole life. But it's so neat that I'm finally able to look, into the crystal ball. But it's difficult. I'm not going to say it's just easy. It can be painful. So for many of us, you may not be used to this kind of emotional depth. So if you are feeling crazy right now, which wouldn't be uncommon, just hang tight. This is a time that you can't control things. This is a time that miracles happen. There are miracles in the making right now. So there's a lot going on up in the sky. And what I want to do is in this chart reading, in this sample chart reading that I'm doing for our third free winner for the holidays, I'll talk more about the transits as I see them going. Okay? When you're reading charts, you just have to know that you're reading a whole map. And, some people can study a chart, make a list, stay on track. But if you're an intuitive reader, you're going to want to let the charts speak to you. Now, in this week's winner, she wrote me an email. She did tell me that to be brutally honest. Now, remember in my last video or last two videos, I talked about when you're reading somebody's chart, you really want to have their questions and you want to stick with what they're asking. And if they give you for permission to, be brutally honest, you still have some ethics to follow. Okay, so before I start reading, I'm going to talk just a little bit about ethics. Again, this video is about teaching astrology as well. In astrology, there are some ways that you can read maybe how many marriages somebody would have, how many children maybe even potentially death. You know, we know that we can dabble into many of those aspects. And it doesn't matter if you're 100% right or not. The fact that we can kind of look, you have to be very careful with. And this is just my opinion, okay, as an astrologer. I believe you have to be very careful. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Now, in the reading we're going to do today, our winner was talking about having some marital problems and asking me if I could look to see, you know, how many marriages she going to have. And the reason for me that I don't do that for people or really even try to look for others is because I really believe, even if it's true, you may go through some of these relationships. If you know that, I kind of feel like you might not give all that you need to give to the one you're in, because you might think, oh, there's just an easy way out. And if you don't give all that you need to give to the one that you're in, you're going to miss out on the lessons necessary in that relationship. So then you'll end up having to do them again and again and again. Now, if you, wanting to study your own chart, want to look at those kind of things, I'm not against that. That's up to you then to decide what you'll do with that type of information. I'm just grateful that, you know, I didn't really know how to look at that in astrology in my younger years. And I'm glad I didn't have that information, even though I did go through a divorce and a remarriage. At that time, I didn't have that, you know, that information. So it allowed me to follow through with the lessons necessary. So I just don't feel that I want to be, you know, that I'm careful with that information. Okay, so here we go. I know you guys do so good hanging in there with me. It's not easy to navigate all this energy and keep it ticking in your mind. So in this question, now she's going to go deep, you guys, and she said that I can go deep. Her main question is, when will she start working again, and will her marriage survive? You know, and this is where she'd asked me. I'd read somewhere that astrologers are able to see divorce and number of marriages in a chart. So again, I just would rather look at all the possibilities so people have choices. We always have a choice to dip out, but you know, make sure you're finishing what you need to be finishing. So in her email, she's been going through some heavy stuff, and I'm going to read some of this because this might be some of the stuff you've been going through as well. So this video is for all of us, okay? She's going stir crazy. I really thought I would have found a job when Mars went into Scorpio earlier this year, but no. Then when Mars went into Cap, no. I don't know what's going on. Dark night of the soul for sure. Money struggles, no job, lost friends, co-workers, siblings. It feels like I'm repelling people somehow. I've tried everything: prayers, sea salt baths, Reiki healing, Theta healing, witch spells, crystal healing. It can be pretty depressing. I could handle it better if my marriage wasn't so strained. He's been distant most of the year. The job crap has been so freaking torturous. Then November 4th, I discovered he'd been talking to a woman he met at work. I lost it. I threw him out, busted up his computer, threw his stuff away, and said, I'm leaving you, taking the kids to another state. He didn't expect that. It shook him awake. We agreed to work on our marriage. It's been so difficult. Pluto makes uber paranoid, uber suspicious, and I have a Scorpio moon, so it's 1,000 times more. I know this year's a 9, and lucky me, I have a 9 life path, lots of endings, you know, and she kind of goes on. So she says she feels invisible. I wonder sometimes, am I still here? Thanks for listening, even if you picked me. So I picked her, so she got picked. Okay, you guys. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, because I'm going to let the spirit flow here. Okay, so if you guys want to look, she is born on July 9th, 1973. And I think that was 10:30 a.m. or p.m. or no, 9 p.m. So she's a Capricorn rising, Sun in Cancer, Moon in Scorpio, Mercury, Venus in Leo, Mars in Aries. So, you know, when I look at a chart, the first thing I look at is the past. I want to put together, where did we just come from? What has this person just gone through? That's very important for me to know. Are they crossing over a new bridge? What lessons have they just, learned? With the moon in Scorpio, we know that all of our Scorpios have been under intense transformation during Saturn in Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio. We still have Lilith in Scorpio right now, the tail end, still working on this in-depth issues in our life, these toxic issues, bringing these to the surface so we can move in to a whole new energy, a whole new type of communicating and relationships. Some of the old stuff has to go. Okay, she also, looking at her chart, has Mercury and Venus in Leo. So when we had all that Scorpio energy, it was squaring her chart in Mercury and Venus. Also squaring Aquarius. She has Jupiter in Aquarius. All right. So yeah, you have to look at your identity, who you are, what you have to bring, your deepest fears were all on the table the last few years. Now, when I look at your husband's chart, this isn't supposed to be a relationship chart, but hey, it's my channel, so now it's a little bit of a relationship reading here. He has Sun, Moon, Mercury in Scorpio. Okay, so we know that between these two, it's a very, very, very in-depth, deep relationship. And sometimes when that happens, you go through lessons together that can be very painful. He also has Mars in Leo. So you see that these two share this Scorpio-Leo energy. Now, when I think of Scorpio-Leo energy, one of the stories that I like to think about is The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. I don't know if you guys remember that, but this relationship could take on that kind of energy. In The Bodyguard, Whitney Houston was a singer. She was a brand. She knew who she was, and she had some stalker. So she hired this bodyguard, and he took care of her behind the scenes. Ultimately, they, made it through the things that the storyline played out. I bring that to this situation because sometimes with such an intense relationship like this, and looking at this chart, they both have Pluto in Libra. Pluto can be those areas that, that energy that really blows up. So this ideal of a relationship is something that they're both learning to deal with. Okay, we want the white picket fence, but that's not what's happening here. So when I'm doing a situation like this and somebody's asking me a very personal question, especially, and I did read it because she kind of said I could use all of this, in reading the fact that, you're finding somebody that's betrayed you, especially for a Scorpio, betraying someone and being betrayed can be, something that is the worst thing that can happen to you. Now, there's always a lot of reasons that go around it. Okay, so can something like that be worked through? Sounds like you guys are trying to make that happen because there's a deeper understanding going on here. But whatever happens in a relationship, what I like to share with people is, how can you become the most powerful and the most authentic and the most, in your own power? Because as you grow, you put yourself in a position that if the world falls down around you and all your greatest fears happen, what's the worst case scenario? You're still standing. You're still standing because you're living in your fullness. And when you're living in your fullness, you often see the relationships around you differently. You may outgrow them, or they may see you in a light. I don't want to lose her. Look at her. She's growing. She's in her fullness. She's in her power. You made a stand for yourself, and we teach people how to treat us. Dr. Phil. That's one of his quotes. So in this case now, I'm going to look, and this may be a little over 15 minutes, but in a reading, these are some of the things I look at. So you're asking me this question, is it going to work? What's my career going to look like? So first thing I want to say is let's get you working internally first. As you get working and things start working for you, boom, then everything will fall into place as you want it to. And you will see those things differently. When we're unsure and when we're dealing with a lot of insecurity, this energy that this Pisces has been bringing about, it feels like, we're lost in the sea. How do we grasp this? The energy of Pisces is also the number one manifester. So when we can grab into this energy and we can start to manifest, how do we want to see our lives? Who do we want to be with? Is this relationship, especially if you have kids, worth growing through this? But either way, let's look at what we've got going on for you here. So let me see. Here we go. So the good thing about this is, okay, you have Mars in Aries, Mercury, Venus, and Leo, Moon in Scorpio, Sun in Cancer, Ascendant in Capricorn, North Node in Capricorn. Now, Pluto, okay, is at 17 degrees, all right? He's passed over your North Node over the last few years. So your life has already been shook up. Your foundation has been shook up. Pluto comes in and shakes up our traditional beliefs and values. Can those things in your life withstand the earthquake, withstand the shakeup? It doesn't make you a failure if they can't. And that's the thing we have to understand, that the universe sometimes comes in and shakes things up because it gets stagnant. And then we're not living true to ourselves. This is a time in history, in astrological history, that the universe is really calling all of us to live more and more authentic to ourselves. So Pluto's heading your way in your ascendant, changing who you are. And this helps you recreate a whole new world. Now, here's the really good thing that's speaking to me right now. Mercury and Venus, you have in Leo. May of 2017, this year, the North Node is going to move into Leo for a 1.5-year cycle. So for those of you who have strong Leo in your chart, this is going to really ignite in you the lion, the lioness, who I am, what I'm here for. Yes, I am special. And for those of you wanting to launch a business, this is a time to brand yourself, to really claim, this is what I have to bring to the table, and be proud of it. It'll bring us out from behind the scenes. You having a moon in Scorpio, that's a struggle with that Leo energy. It's the celebrity and the bodyguard within yourself, wanting to, partly, I'm sorry, guys, I'm moving something and it's distracted me. There we go. It's about you having that internal, understanding of, yes, I need to be able to find my quiet space, my protection, especially having a sun in Cancer, double water here. But you have to honor that Leo energy. It's the diva. You've got a star on the walk of life, and it's not about an ego. It's about claiming, thank you thank you for giving me this so that whatever message, whatever work, whatever talent I have now has a way to get out to people and to draw them in. So take advantage of the energies that you have. So what's going to be happening as I look ahead for 2017 is pay attention to May. You're already feeling it because just in your message, you're like, oh man, I'm tired of this. You know, where do I belong? I feel invisible. Well, guess what? That sun energy is going to start to rise up in you and you will start to take your power. And that's going to be a good thing. You're not going to be putting up with much. If you do decide that, you know, this relationship and marriage is what you want to work on, that lioness will be protecting it, you know, so you can utilize the energy whichever way you go. Again, making ourselves all that we can be. Right now we have Mars in Pisces, and then February, March, Mars will move into Aries. This will be your Mars return. So when Mars returns happen, it's once every 2 years, approximately an 8-week cycle. You're going to really have the opportunities to, again, know who you are, your identity, people coming into your life, job opportunities. This is great for job opportunities. Now, Mars is a powerful energy. You're used to living in this because you have Mars in Aries. And Mars rules Aries, okay? So you know about fighting for who you are and your beliefs. So this will ignite that. So just be aware that steroids from heaven, you want to use this powerful energy to start feeling good, start pulling out, and look for the people coming in your lives, the opportunities coming in your life, okay? Mars returns are very good, but they're hot to handle. So as I'm looking at this, you know, and I look at, you know, a little bit about your husband's chart, he having a sun, moon, Mercury in Scorpio has been through a hell of a lot. He also has Venus in Sagittarius. Right now, Saturn's sitting right on top of it. So, you know, that's the way he expresses, you know, what he loves. So he's had a lot of internal stuff going on, not to make excuses for behavior, but this is passing. Okay, this is passing over. Uranus has been in Aries retrograde the last 6 months. He has his ascendant in Aries at 20 degrees. So this tells me that he's also been held back, and boom, Uranus is moving forward. This September, Mars will move into Leo. That will be his return, and that will also light up your chart. So you have a lot of high power energy coming your way, going to pull you out of this stuck feeling. You just have to be prepared to learn how to use these energies as they come. That's what is good about understanding the transits, is it can prepare us. Doesn't mean we can necessarily change anything, but it allows us to, you know, we can, you know, work with the energy a little bit better, or understand when we're having these powerful emotions, where do we want to use this power and not get caught off guard with it. Okay, you guys, I hope that was interesting. And if you have any questions, please comment below. Happy to answer questions. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and Happy New Year 2017. Lots coming our way, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.